If you have ever been confused when the waiter asks, "Would you like pastrami or corned beef?" and you secretly wished for a magic spell to tell them apart without having to taste them, you are definitely not alone. Most of us assume that pastrami is just a fancier version of corned beef. Maybe someone sprinkled on some Italian seasoning and magically transformed it into an expensive dish. But the truth behind it is vastly, vastly more complex than we think. Pastrami and corned beef might look somewhat similar, but they differ in their historical origins, processing methods, spice blends, and even the molecular structure of the meat itself. And by the end of this video, you will hold in your hands the extraordinary story of how two immigrant dishes shape the very soul of American cuisine. Let's start with the absolute only thing they have in common: beef brisket. Both pastrami and corned beef today begin their lives from the exact same spot on the cow, the front pectoral muscle. And this is a very tough cut of meat, incredibly resilient, and packed full of connective tissue. But here's the fascinating part. The original versions of both these dishes were not made from beef at all. This little-known truth surprises almost everyone. The ancestor of pastrami in Romania, the dish pastrama, was originally made from goose, or mutton, or pork. Similarly, the traditional dish of the ancient Irish also used pork, not beef. We often associate corned beef with Ireland, with St. Patrick's Day. With the color green and parades, it is considered the national soul of the Irish in America, an indispensable icon. But here's the part that surprises almost everyone. In reality, the Irish back in their homeland primarily ate pork, or bacon, not corned beef. The iconic Irish dish in America turned out to be born out of adaptation, a historical paradox. When Irish immigrants arrived in New York, they found pork to be far too expensive, way beyond their budgets. But they discovered another option, significantly cheaper: beef brisket. And they bought it straight from their new neighbors, Jewish immigrants. What an ironic historical intersection. But before they diverge onto two different paths, they undergo a mandatory ritual together: braining. Both pastrami and corned beef begin by sitting in the exact same solution: water, salt, sugar, garlic, and a secret ingredient, pink curing salt, also known as sodium nitrite. This stuff works miracles. It preserves that signature reddish-pink color of the meat and completely prevents bacterial growth. If the process stops right here and you take the meat to be boiled, you get corned beef. But pastrami, it gets to live a second life. Next, let's talk about the name. Corned beef. Most people immediately think of corn, a beef dish with sweet corn. But don't let it fool you. The word corned here has absolutely nothing to do with those yellow kernels. Not at all. It refers to the size of the salt grains, coarse grains of rock salt, the size of corn kernels, used by the British to cure beef since the 18th century. One word, clear as day. Done. So, what are the characteristics of corned beef? A firm texture, sometimes a bit crumbly. A mild flavor leaning toward a smooth, savory saltiness. It brings a deep sense of comfort. True comfort food. It does not have that black crust on the outside, just that beautiful reddish-pink hue from the nitrate salt. It is a fantastic team player, perfectly suited to mingle with other ingredients: boiled cabbage, mashed potatoes, tender, and sweet carrots, or serving as the foundation in the legendary Reuben sandwich. But what about its brother, the one with the glossy black bark and that hauntingly smoky aroma? To truly understand pastrami, we have to rewind. It is the afterlife of corned beef, a second life. Remember that brine-soaked beef brisket? If it simply goes into the boiling pot, the story ends. But with pastrami, the journey has just begun. Step 1. The dry rub. This is the boundary that makes all the difference. Corned beef has absolutely no external spice coating. Pastrami does. a thick, dark crust of spices, primarily coarsely ground black pepper, plus coriander seeds, mustard, and garlic. This bark isn't just for decoration, it is the very soul of the dish. Next, step 2, smoking. This is the fateful turning point. The spiced slab of meat goes straight into the smoker. It sits there for hours on end, bathing in wood smoke, low temperature, slow and steady. The smoky aroma penetrates deep into every single meat fiber. A chemical reaction occurs. The spicy bite of the pepper melds perfectly with the intense, heavy smoke. But hold on, here is something very few people know. When the pastrami is first pulled out of the smoker, legally speaking, it is fully cooked, safe to eat. But in reality, it is as tough as rubber, completely unchewable. What an ironic truth. To become that melt-in-your-mouth slice of meat, it absolutely must undergo one more process: steaming, lasting anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5 hours. The hot steam completely breaks down the connective tissues, transforming a tough, rigid slab of meat into something incredibly tender. This is when the real magic happens. And the result? A true solo star. A robust, complex flavor profile, exploding with the sharp heat of black pepper and a profound smoky depth. A distinct, thick black bark. An incredibly tender texture that effortlessly melts in your mouth. It shines brightest when it stands completely alone, just wedged between 2 slices of rye bread. Add a little yellow Deli mustard. That is it. No cheese needed, no sauerkraut needed. Adding anything else to it would be an absolute culinary crime. Now let's put them side by side. The exact same beef brisket, the exact same brine vat, but completely polar opposites. Corned beef is the team player. Pastrami is the star, an undeniable fact. When sliced onto a plate, they look almost identical. The only visual difference is the thin black crust on the outside of the pastrami. Yet their roles in a meal are worlds apart. Let's talk about texture. Corned beef is much firmer, sometimes a bit crumbly, chewier. Pastrami is significantly more tender, literally melting in your mouth. That is, thanks to a higher fat content. Pastrami is usually made from the fattier, highly marbled section of the brisket, the point cut, or the navel. Corned beef, on the other hand, utilizes the leaner section, the flat cut. Let's talk about flavor. Corned beef is mild, smoothly savory. The aroma resembles rich beef broth. But pastrami, oh man, what an explosion. The spicy heat of black pepper, the deep, lingering smoke, a literal symphony of the senses. Let's talk about application. Corned beef is typically sliced thicker, eaten alongside boiled cabbage and sweet carrots. It is the absolute foundation of the legendary Reuben sandwich, paired with tart German sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, and Russian dressing. Pastrami is sliced thin, ideally hand-sliced, against the grain, to guarantee that perfect tenderness. And it is best eaten hot, allowing the fat to literally melt out. Here is the crucial thing to remember. Both are incredibly salty, extremely high in sodium. That is the very nature of salt-cured meat. And both contain absolutely zero carbohydrates. Zero carbs. Great news for anyone following a low-carb diet. Have you ever heard of Montreal smoked meat? This is the part that surprises almost everyone. Caught between the extremes of the tender, savory corned beef and the fatty, spicy pastrami, exists a third type of meat. It serves as the perfect bridge. Montreal-style smoked meat. It uses the exact same lean cut of meat as corned beef, the lean brisket, but it applies the heavy spice rub and smoking technique of pastrami. However, it uses absolutely no sugar, and it undergoes a much longer dry curing process. The result? It combines the smooth, savory saltiness of corned beef with the heavily smoked bark of pastrami. It brilliantly fills the culinary void between these two meats. An absolute genius hybrid, a proud legacy of the Jewish community in Canada. And there is one final fascinating truth. Did you know that you can actually turn corned beef into pastrami right in your own home? A little culinary experiment. You buy a pre-brined block of corned beef, rinse off the excess salt, slather it in a thick spice rub, black pepper, coriander, minced garlic, and then go smoke it. Just like that, you have given it a second life. Exactly what history did, just a slight tweak in the processing phase. The exact same slab of beef. Two completely distinct destinies. This world is far more complex and beautiful than what we see. Even inside a seemingly simple meat sandwich, the exact same beef brisket, the exact same brine vat, but two destinies. Corned beef is the witness to ocean crossings and adaptation on American soil. Pastrami is the absolute pinnacle of smoke, fire, and patience. Next time you stand in front of a deli counter, can you remember that you are not just choosing between two types of meat. You are choosing between Ireland and Romania, between boiling broth and wood smoke. It isn't just lunch. It is a legacy.